Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 22 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. So if you're constantly fighting through life, making things happen, and feeling a bit crazy in the process, this episode is for you. It's also an episode for myself to remind me of what I've learned and that surrendering is a process and it's an art of allowing and dancing with what is so that we can come to a place of possibilities and hope. So today I'll pull back the curtain on what it looks like to surrender and how you can find more grace in your life in the process. So on my journey to be a light worker, which is someone who wants to impact the world for the better, if you haven't heard that term before, one of my main questions was this: how do I surrender? What does it even mean? I had fought for so long to control outcomes in my life and to shape my life and to make things happen that the term surrender just seemed so pitiful. Why would I want to give up? Yet there was in so many of the spiritual texts and teachings the word surrender. There was also a part of me that knew what this was and had to remember, and it was why I fought against it, yet also longed for it. It was the missing link in my achieving lifestyle that bridged the gap from my very reality-based, grounded, and goal-oriented ways of being and my intuitive and spiritual pursuits. I knew there was something more there that I needed to explore to be truly present. So the summer of 2019, I was about to head into the city for a Gabby Bernstein event. Gabby was one of my spiritual teachers that I've been working with for the last couple of years. And I pulled a card that morning from her super attractor deck, and it read, "Surrender to a power greater than you." I was still in the process of launching my coaching business more publicly to the world, of figuring out what it meant to have big dreams of spiritual or business achievement, and the realities of being a mom of two, a wife, and someone that worked in the corporate world. So I arrived early to the event in the city that morning, and as I was waiting in line for the doors to open, they were handing out cards to keep people, occupied from her deck to each person that was waiting in line. I was excited to get mine, and I said thank you. I flipped my card over, and I saw the same card. Surrender to a power greater than you. Okay, so it was the same message, and I did the math for you. It's a 0.04% chance to get the same card from a deck of 52 twice. So the event starts, Gabby comes on stage, and as is both a live and virtual event, she's talking about these tech issues that they've been having at the start and how prior to her coming out on stage, she was, getting in a tizzy, feeling really frustrated. Her husband tried to help her feel better and handed her a card from her deck. She shared that card with the crowd, and the card was surrender to a power greater than you. And she used it as a reminder to let that tech anxiety go, right? And obviously those tech issues got resolved. Meanwhile, I'm like, WTF, this card again. Guys, we are now at a 0.0007% chance getting the same card 3 times in a row. And this is all in the span of a few hours. So then, as I was waiting to go to the bathroom during a break, a woman who I was considering to hire as a coach of mine shared with me that she also got the same card at the event. Surrender to a power greater than you. So we are now at a 0.00004 chance. And what's the kicker? The kicker was I still wasn't sure what it all meant. What was surrender? I mean, I literally understood the term. It means to give up. But what did that mean in my life? And I remember walking out of that event just thinking, what does it mean to surrender? What does it mean to surrender? What does it mean walking out into New York City, into, the village, and just pondering that thought? What was the message I was trying to receive, and how do I actually do this? So what I'll share next about surrender is for me, for you, and for all the times in our future where we will receive this message, but we won't know what to do with it. So what does it mean to surrender? So surrender means two things. These are things that I've learned over time, and I'm just so grateful I have the chance to be able to share it now, because I really wish back then I had these answers. So the first thing surrender means, the first step, is giving up your expectations of how things will go. And the second step is about giving up what you believe about yourself that really isn't true. So let's start with step one, giving up expectations of how things will go. So boy, oh boy, is this one a doozy. So how do I give up control? How do I give up my expectations? And what would it mean if I did? Giving up control didn't feel safe, nor did it feel smart. And as an achiever, you're used to picking up the slack so that you can ensure that the job gets done right. You're used to doing more than your fair share, more than is expected of you, because you expect the job to be done well, and that's what it takes. And if this is your programming, how do you just let all of this go? I ask myself these questions each time I tried something new. Most of my life, I've done things that were safe. I knew what the probability was for certain outcomes, but at the same time, it was usually the things where I had the least amount of experience or expectations that I succeeded in the most. And why is that? Why is that? I knew that this was also true in the same way that I knew that I also had very high probability of me achieving my outcomes that I had really studied or learned or known about, because I had experience with it. So why is that sometimes things just go way better than we expect? Well, when your expectations are low, right? The things that go way better than expected, when your expectations are low, you're more likely to be more patient and open to new ideas. So to be clear, I don't mean that we have low standards. There's a difference between expectations and standards. Expectation means there's a certain amount of disappointment if things don't go as planned. Standards mean that you are resolving to act and you require a level of performance from yourself. Expectations usually take into consideration the outside world, whereas standards are an internal measure. I expect you to behave this way. I expect the car to be there when I arrive. Standards are what you accept. I won't accept you behaving this way. I won't accept that the car isn't there. You can see that acceptance is an internal act. If I don't accept you behaving this way, it doesn't mean you don't behave that way. It means that I will let you know that it's not okay. If I don't accept that the car isn't there, doesn't mean the car won't be there, but it means that I will do the work to make sure that you know that I'm coming and that it doesn't happen again. So these two words are so close. Standards, expectations. Yet they are worlds apart when it comes to our ability to manage the results and the decisions from them. So many times in our life, we resist what is right there in front of us. We stress about not getting to our goals on time in the way that we want, and we consider it a failure. Has that ever happened to you? Failure stops us from getting back up and trying again. But there's no failure when there is acceptance. When you accept what is in front of you, you're able to make decisions from a place of calmness, from a place of objectivity. Surrender how you think it's supposed to go and accept what is happening right now. Why do we think that we have ultimate control over exactly how things should be? Perhaps it was from your upbringing, or a sense of desire for safety and certainty, a desire for stability. Either way, I and you know that you're probably used to living a safe life. When you live a safe life, this means by default that you want to know what will happen and when. Not knowing, giving up control, and moving with what is actually happening means that you're no longer living a safe life. You're expanding into a worldview that is bigger than what you've entertained before, because you're allowing yourself to entertain the possibilities beyond your field of vision. And again, you can still accept what is happening and be a leader, because you're able to say, I see what is going on and this is how I will act. This is the magic of surrendering your expectations of how life is supposed to be and allowing what is to be. And from this place, you can start to co-create this life that is partly coming from your essence and partly coming from the universe, the environment, things beyond your control. And this is when you don't block that internal guidance of yours. And when you don't block that internal guidance, you start to see that life can be even better than you could have imagined. The second part of surrendering is giving up the stories of who we are, especially those stories that we believe about ourselves that aren't true and are no longer serving us. For our sense of safety, we would rather hold on to any identity than to feel that we're casting ourselves out there, finding out who we want to be. We make excuses for the same behavior we always exhibit, which gets us the exact same life we had yesterday. So no forward progress comes from doing the exact same thing that doesn't serve you, does it? So why then do we continue to say that we're not smart enough, we're not bold enough, we're not courageous enough, we're not open enough, we're not disciplined enough to do the thing that we say we want to do? Why is that? It's because we love our stories. We love to recount the ways in which we've been hurt, confused, affected, and broken down by life. So you're going to say, May, but I'm an extra difficult person to work with because I don't even know what I want. I don't have what it takes. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I'm going to tell you this. All it takes to change any one of these things or anything at all is a single decision, and it's a decision that you must change, that we must change, and that you can change. This decision comes when you look yourself in the mirror one day and realize that you don't recognize who you are, what you've become, and why life feels like it's passing you by. So when I got those cards, surrender to a power greater than you, 4 times in the span of one day, I was fighting with my identity. Was I this corporate warrior, or was I as free as a bird entrepreneur? Was I a coach or a trainer? Was I a mom, or was I my own person? Each of these identities would create a life path that I was either on or not on. And that incongruence of feeling like I was supposed to be a specific kind of person, to be chasing my dreams, of having impact on the world, that wasn't who I was driving me crazy. I realized that the expectations I had of doing only one thing, of being only one person, were driven not by me, but by what I thought I had to be based on what I saw around me. And specifically, what I chose to believe about what I saw around me. And once I let that go, once I let that belief go, that story go, that I have to be, act, and just not be who I was, but be something else completely different. Once I let that go, I realized that I could surrender those expectations, and instead I could ride the waves of change. I could ride the waves of momentum in life much more easily. My desire stayed the same. The desire to coach, to train, to impact people's lives stayed the same. But that outer shell of the work that I do in terms of my 9-to-5 job and my coaching work, I could see now that all those things were just the superficial layer. And if I decided that it was a failure to be working a 9-to-5 job, then yes, it would be a failure. But if I decided that it'd be an amazing success, that my 9-to-5 job aligned so perfectly with the work that I want to do, then it would be this magical thing. So guess what? This is a decision of what all of this means to you in your life. That failure, that heartbreak, that thing that didn't happen, the thing you wish you did 10 years ago, the reason why you're still not doing it today. All a decision that whether you realize it or not, you're making over and over and over again. Every time you don't act, every time you don't change the meaning, every time you don't move one step closer, you're making a decision to stay where you are. And I'm not asking you to make a change, but I'm asking you to see if you want to make a change. And if you do want to make a change and you're not giving up that story, then you know where to look. It's inside. When I surrendered the stories of who I thought I had to be, I realized that I was a mom who loved her family and her husband, who didn't have to be in an ashram or in a temple all day in order to be spiritual. And more importantly, I realized that this life with all these people around me was my path. Understanding how to contribute to this world while living in this world is my special sauce. And I'm like you, and you're like me. If I can do this, so can you. And that message is so much more impactful than if I was some kind of guru who lived as an ascetic, because my message isn't for those people. It's for you, and it's for me, and it's for the person who has practical responsibilities, desires a full life, and is also open to a touch more magic than they've ever experienced. So ultimately, all this taught me about congruency and how important it is to be congruent, which is another word for being aligned with who you are and what is in front of you in order for you to achieve any sense of ease and flow. Life didn't get easier, but it sure felt that way. I was able to see greater and greater momentum in my training and my coaching work, in my relationships with my family and friends, and most importantly, with myself. I began to do more work around intuitive guidance, energy healing, things that just were things that lit me up, to be honest, right? No, very little expectation. My interest in wellness, all those things just come from a desire because I think it's interesting. I think it's neat. I think it's just something that I want to do. And I think that we sometimes confuse our purpose, right? We get so wrapped up with this idea of, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is, when really your purpose is to find the things that light you up and do them. So I began to do more work around all these topics that interest me, and I began to infuse that into both my life and my work. I remember the day when I realized this is what surrender looks like. I was running through some hills on a trail in the woods near me, and I saw that I kept missing a path. And it was a path that I had come on. This trail was a bit of a loop. And why was that? When I was running back the opposite direction, I kept missing the path because I was so focused on what was in front of me that I didn't even know to look around me. And it hit me all at once. Our life and the opportunities for everything we want are all around us, not some 2D version that's from one line to another line, point A to B, but it's more of this sphere, that life is not this one linear thing, yet an expansive, all-encompassing sphere kind of shape. And when you start to see that, you can see that you're not looking around you. We look at that one straight path. We keep going down it, not even seeing that there is a shortcut right next to us or a path that gets us there that is way more interesting or way more pleasant because we're not aware. So surrendering is opening yourself up to this next level of awareness and a connection to a world beyond your own. One that may be the one missing link in all your endeavors. Surrender to a power greater than you means that you're opening yourself up to something even greater than you. How can you say no to a life where you could be infinitely more blessed with unexpected yet powerfully greater realities than what you could have even conjured up? So let it go, let it all go, and you'll in turn let the magic in. So if you want help designing your day so that you can be really present and open to all that life has in store for you, you're in luck because I'm hosting a free Design Your Day workshop. You can RSVP now to get a spot, and I'll share with you strategies and tools I use daily to shift my mindset, what I've used to change my careers and improve my health. And together we're going to start this process of designing a magical life where you begin to open up to what is out there that you have never even realized. And in turn, you're going to design a magical life. So go to mayemson.com/design your day to sign up today. So that's it for now. I hope you all have an amazing, amazing week. I'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. It'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.